Welcome back to Grafting Dragon Fruit. It's Richard, and this video is going to cover everything you need to know about pruning to prepare you for the upcoming season. Before we get started, I do want to say a huge thank you to Helix Sleep for sponsoring this video. Helix offers premium mattresses and bedding that are fully customized to fit your unique sleep needs. How does it work? Just go to their website and take the Helix Sleep quiz that will ask you a few different things about your sleep preferences, a little bit about your specific body type, and based on those answers, they'll match you with what they feel is the perfect mattress for you. Helix mattresses are shipped right to your door for free anywhere in the United States. They come rolled up in a box and they're super easy to set up. I was able to set mine up within a few minutes by myself. You just unroll it, give it some time to inflate, and just like that, you have a mattress ready to sleep on. My wife and I were matched to the Midnight Luxe mattress with the Glacio Tex cooling cover. The cooling cover draws heat away from your body, keeping you from getting hot all night long while you sleep at night. We've been sleeping on this mattress for a few weeks now, and compared to my old mattress, it's a game changer. The amount of cushion and comfort is night and day. We absolutely love it. My entire family has been sleeping so well through the night, we wake up refreshed every morning, especially me. For someone who sleeps on the side, I would sometimes get shoulder or neck soreness, and ever since I've switched over to this mattress, I haven't been experiencing those soreness anymore. If it makes you nervous to buy a mattress online, they do offer a 100-night sleep trial as well as a 10-year warranty. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. You get a little bit over 3 months to make sure you love the mattress. They also offer financing options with flexible payment plans to make it super easy for you. Best part is, Helix is having an exclusive President's Day promo for my viewers. Get 27% off site-wide when you order your Helix mattress today. Be sure to head to helixsleep.com/graftingdragonfruit or scan this QR code right here to get your Helix mattress today. All right, now let's get back to dragon fruit. How to prune newly planted dragon fruit cuttings at various stages. So, I planted all of these new trellis with cuttings last year, and I didn't do any pruning to them at all because I get a lot of questions asked in my comments, how do I prune my dragon fruit cuttings when they look like this or when they look like this? So there are just so many factors in the conditions you're growing them. If you're giving them fertilizer, you can get lots of branches or you can get a little bit of branches. So I saved up all of the trellis that had all of the various stages of the newly planted cuttings, so that way I can show you guys how to prune them and why it's important to prune them at a newly planted stage. This is gonna help you guys get fruit faster if you do it this way. So if you guys are ready, let's get right into it. All right, I have my favorite shear, my Corona shears. You guys can find this in the description. I always leave it in there. I love it because it just has this tilt here. It's small, lightweight, so I can go around and get my job done quick without all that bulk. Okay, so here I have Ohana Express. There's only 2 cuttings in here. I grafted them because they do a lot better with a graft. I noticed that Ohana Express's roots aren't as strong as the Vietnam Whites, American Beauty, Sugar Dragon, or Pink Panther. Those are always really good rootstocks. And here I use the American Beauty rootstocks, and they've been growing so well. Before, I didn't graft them, so the growth was always very skinny and dehydrated, but ever since I grafted them, they're nice, plump, and very thick. So I finally got it at this stage, and it needs a little bit of pruning because it's starting to let all of the auxin hormones go to these other branches that are here. The minute I cut them, it's gonna stop those hormones from growing to these branches and focus it in the area that I need it to be, which is this main branch right here. This is what you guys wanted to do. Eventually, you want one main branch starting from the cutting where you plant it. You want it to lead up their post and keep going, and we call this the main branch. And here, the main branch continues to grow and all the way past the top. So this is exactly what you guys want to do. So all of these other lower growth, we're going to go ahead and take care of that now. I always like to start at the very bottom of the trellis because this is where all of the growth is going to get all of the energy first, and once it goes here, very little goes to the very top, right? So the first thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and cut this one off here. So any lower growth you guys see, go ahead and take it off. I like to do stem cuts, just like that. And if you guys have a marker with you, go ahead and start labeling them because you guys can use it as cuttings later. So this is Ohana Express. And what I like to do too is kind of just leave it in this pot so I know what kind of cutting it is if I didn't label it yet, so I can go back to do that later. So we got rid of the very first bottom one, right? This too, I won't need this because I already told you guys I only want one main branch, so that one was growing out a new cutting. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this off too. Even though it's a small cutting, this still can become a great rooted cutting to plant, or you can use this as grafting material as well. So we'll leave that there. And now I'm searching from the bottom, going up, 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 up. What do you see? Okay, we're gonna stop right here. There's another new growth here that I want to take off, because if you guys look, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 new growths here that I probably don't need because I already have these 2 already growing past the trellis. So let's go ahead and take these other newly cuttings out. And just like that, you guys, I have now Ohana Express cuttings that I can later sell, plant, or use to graft later. And go ahead and keep on following your main branch. You see obstruction, we're gonna go ahead and take it off. And I like to always keep the biggest growth. So these 2 I'm going to keep and just continue to let them grow. But over here, I'm gonna do something a little different. Because I only have 2 cuttings in here, I want 2 main growths to come out of the top. So that way it can brother this way, and soon enough it can cover the whole canopy and have it branch out just like an umbrella, and it's gonna look really nice. All right, we finished with the back part. I'm happy with the 2 cuttings that I have that's past the top of the trellis already. So I'm gonna go ahead now and take care of all of these. It sucks because I got spider webs here, and I love to keep my spiders, guys. They've been saving me from, the aphids. Sometimes I find caterpillar in there too. They even eat the caterpillar, so it's really nice to have. All right, in the beginning, I like to keep multiple branches because of the summertime. You get a lot of bugs like caterpillars, grasshoppers, bugs that eat your branches. So I like to keep extra branches for insurance. And let me show you guys why I did that. This one, you can see a caterpillar has been eating at the top. So this branch now is damaged from the top. It's no longer gonna grow upwards. It's gonna now wait until this dies off and gets thicker, and then new branches are gonna come out of there. So I'm happy that the caterpillar was focused on this branch, because the one I didn't want it to eat was this main branch here, the one that grew past the trellis. So that's great. So now that I know it already ate the tip of this one, I'm just gonna take it off now and then use that as a cutting as well. So let's go ahead, take that off. This one, nice cutting. It's about good, 16 inches there. So this will make a really good cutting. And like I said, guys, you want to use it for grafting material, you can too. All right. I finally cleaned up everything. As you can see now, we have 1 main branch, no more obstructions, and then we have it growing to the top. And once we get to the top, I like to cut at least maybe 4 inches from the top and leave about 2 inches past the trellis, so that way it can continue to branch out. And I'll go back to do all that at the end because I want to show you guys all the ones that I do have ready to go ahead and cut the top. All right, we have now, this is Sour Patch Kids, and over here is Sour Patch Watermelon. Again, this one grew a little bit more branches. This one didn't grow too many branches. But because it didn't grow too many branches, there was still enough energy for them to push all of the growth past the trellis. The Sour Patch Watermelon, I left too many branches on, and as you guys can see, it delayed the main branch to grow to the top. It's barely starting to reach because all of these bottom ones here are literally taking all of their energy, all of their hormones, and it's just getting fed faster, so they're growing down here more than the top. So what I'm going to do today is take off all of the bottom, like I just said, find my main branch that I want to keep, and then we're going to lead this one to past the trellis, okay? So let's start with the Sour Patch Kids. I have 1, 2, 3 main branches already that's already grown past the top, so these are great. I'm going to remove everything lower. I didn't even have to trim or crop this top, and I already have new growth growing here. You guys can see 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's perfect. I like to usually keep 4 to 5 sub branches from the main branch and let them kind of grow up and fall over. So that's good. So we're just going to clean up everything on the bottom. So let's start with down here. All right. This one here, we have no main branch yet. So I need to keep one of these. This one looks like it is closer to the center. So I'll go ahead and cut this one off. And now that I've cut this one off, label it or keep it in your pot. Let me get my tape. So this is where your garden tape comes in. So this main branch here, oh, you guys know what? There was a reason why I did this. The main branch is actually this one. It's the same one from this one. So this is attached to it. So let's just cut this off so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so these two branches came from this main branch, and there's even a new growth coming out of here. You can keep it or you can take it off. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it off because today I'm doing pruning and we don't need that because we have a main branch that's actually growing from down here. And as you can see, look, it's growing, and it's reached to almost the top. So that's exactly what I want. I'm gonna take my garden tape and secure that so that way it continues to keep growing the way that I want it to. When you guys are tying it with the garden tape, it helps keep it straight so that way it can continue to grow to the top. If you guys don't tie them, they like to grow to the side and follow the sun a lot. So sometimes you'll have growth that comes to the side like this because they're trying to follow the sun instead of grow to the top. So tying them like this will lead it to the top. So as they grow, even an inch or two, just tie them early. It helps you lead them to the top faster. All right. Okay, so we cleaned up that one. This is our main branch, we know that. Here's another main branch we're following. Okay, here we go. We have some more obstruction. Taking that one. So lots of Sour Patch Kids cutting. That's gonna be on the website. I'm following, no more. We have one main branch with exactly what we want. Down here, none. And if I go to this side, I do see a lot here. So all these new ones, wasted energy. Let's go ahead and take them off. We are in the mid of the season, so everything's gonna grow really fast with the heat coming in now. So we don't need all of this. Perfect. All these little ones here, I usually just throw them away. I keep anything over 8 inches as cuttings. So look how nicely this is cleaned up now. They're leading to the top. I got some new ones there. This one just needs to catch up, but after I fertilize it, it's gonna catch right up now because I removed all of that lower growth. It's gonna grow super fast now. Okay, this one's similar to the Sour Patch Kids, but as you can see, we have a lot of growth that's just growing out and not leading anything up. So I gotta figure out which ones I'm gonna decide to keep to lead up and which ones I'm gonna remove. So Sour Patch Watermelon, same rule applies, start from the bottom. This is my main branch here, and this is gonna be my main branch that I'm gonna use to lead up. So these three can go right off. Perfect. And that's it. It's leading. And you can see caterpillar decided to eat the tip of this, but now I have 2 new branches. I'm gonna let these grow just in case the caterpillar comes back, and I'll decide which one to continue to let grow to past the top. This one too. Looks like they've gotten to the top. This is what caterpillars do, you guys. They like to eat them. So that's why I like to leave sometimes 2 or 3 branches as a decoy for these caterpillars to eat one, but really I'm interested in keeping this one safe. So lead them away. All right, we have one here. We'll tie that up with tape very soon. We'll start out with this next one. So follow from the bottom, we're going up. I know this is my main branch and we got 3 little ones here. And we can go ahead now and take these off. Great, we have one main branch And behind me here, I'm gonna squeeze in. This is my main branch, if you guys can see. See how it's growing that way and not sticking to the back here to grow straight up? I'm gonna clean up the bottom. I have 4 here. 1, 2, 3. Just 3. Now I know I have this main branch. I'm gonna go ahead and put it up here and we're good on that side. Okay, last one to clean up. I am going to decide this one as my main branch. It's already close to the center. I can tie this very easy without it bending or breaking all crazy. And it still has the tip here that hasn't been damaged by caterpillar yet. So those are the 3 things you guys want to pay attention to when selecting which one you're going to lead up to the top. And again, we start from the bottom. We see that there's obstruction here, here, right here. And look at how many Sour Patch watermelon cuttings we have. So definitely gonna have some cuttings on the website this month. I'll count all these and post them up as soon as I'm done here today. And I don't want this one. And we decided to keep this one as our main branch. So we're gonna take that one off as well. All right, so look at that, guys. It's nice and clean. Everything looked like it just got a haircut and is on its way to growing faster past the trellis so we can crop the top and then we'll have fruit later and in the season. Now that I know which one are my main branches, we're gonna go ahead now, secure everything to the post, just like this. And we're just helping continue lead the way all the way to the top. And all of these cuttings, you guys, I planted last year at the same time, and you can see some has passed the trellis, some is just still kind of growing outwards, and that's all because of the pruning. If I were to do the pruning earlier, before the summertime, when they were still younger, it would have just led all these to the top. But because I wanted to make examples of all of them, I kept everything, so that way you guys know what to do when you guys see all these different stages of growth on your new planted cuttings. All right, this one is very self-explanatory. It's very clean already. So when you use long cuttings like this, you guys, they can grow right at the top and sometimes they won't grow anything at the bottom. So I didn't have to do any cleaning up. This is Pink Panther. I'm gonna go ahead and just clean off a few branches because they are almost at the top. Only a couple of them looks like they're lagging, which is the ones that I left too many branches on. The ones that I only left 2 on, they're growing nice and fine. But the ones with 3 branches, look at this. They're just growing outwards. They don't know where to go. So we're gonna go ahead and help them lead to the right direction. So I like this one. It has a tip still. It's close to the trellis and I can go ahead and tie that to the post easily. So we're gonna go ahead and take these 2 off here. I checked from the bottom, there's no lower growth that I need to remove. And these are close together, so be careful not to cut the other branch that you wanna keep on. Perfect, these 2 now are off. I can now put that up. These as well. This one looks good. So we're gonna keep that one behind. Take this off. And this. Perfect. Over here, I have 2. This one's already grown in there. I don't need this one. So go ahead and take this one off. All right. So I only want 1 because I have 4 really nice cuttings here. We're gonna go ahead and choose another one of these to take off. This one is already at the center and this one's kind of going that way. So we're gonna go ahead and take off this one. Perfect, exactly what I wanted, guys. All nice and clean. 1 main branch to the top. Now go ahead and secure all of these to the center of your post. And just be careful when you're doing this because they can accidentally break and you're gonna prune all that off just to break off a branch and you're gonna be so sad because you're gonna have to wait for a new growth to grow again. So my first tape is just to put them all together to the center. And now this is where I'm gonna try to move them around and get them to where I want them to be. Okay, so that's perfect. I just need another tape to position them to the center. I think we'll be good with this trellis and then we can move on to the next one. So you guys see it, this is bending. Once you guys tie this together, it's gonna start to grow straight now. So you're gonna help it correct itself. All right, this looks good. And I'm happy with all that. And as they grow, I will position them so that way they can grow 2 on this side, 2 on this side. And we'll be happy with that. Okay guys, we're almost done. I saved this one for an extreme kind of example. This is what happens when you don't prune any of the branches at all. Instead of this variety growing to the top of the trellis, it started just growing small and stunted branches. I gave it fertilizer, which helped it, produce all the branches, but I was supposed to take some off so that way it can focus all of its energy and send it to the top. I didn't do that, so all it did was bush around. So you guys can see all my previous trellis, they were ready to grow to the top. This one is nowhere close, and it's all at the same age. So this one is a little behind, so we gotta clean all this up quickly so that way we can make use of all this heat in the dragon fruit season and lead this to the top so we can get some umbrella canopy going and fruits to start forming. All right, so this is a big mess. So let's go ahead and clean this up. I'm gonna start on this side. Okay, right off the bat, the first thing I like to do when they're this heavily with branches and needs to be pruned is just take off all of the smallest growth, starting from the bottom. Something like that. I'm moving these around. This is a main branch here. And we have another small one right there. So what I'm going to do, guys, is just take this off, pruning all of the lower growth. These ones are gonna make excellent cuttings. They're nice, thick, plump, so healthy. They're gonna root so nice. Okay. I'm gonna actually prune this one now because I need to see what's going on over here. So all these lower growth here are going to be taken off as well. And the minute I do this, you guys are going to see how much better it looks. Okay, we have a small one here. I know definitely I don't want to keep that. We're going to take that off. This one looks like it still has its tip, and this one does too. I'm going to keep those 2 and continue on to prune off all the smaller ones, the ones that aren't doing anything but sucking energy, just like that. Okay. Just look how much better this looks already. Now it can actually be pushed up and we can start tying this up. Okay, I like this one here. This one looks like it's gonna be closest to the post. So I'm gonna go ahead now and confidently take this one off as well. Okay, we cleaned up so much. That was a lot, right? But be confident when you guys do it. And if you guys mess up, don't worry, they will grow back. And then once they grow back, you can correct it again. So don't be afraid to go out here and cut things, guys. Do it. It's gonna help your plants a lot. Okay, we got this one done. Now let's follow this one. This one just has this one left here. So that's good. I'll keep this one just in case this one decides to throw another growth. I will use that new growth to lead it up. This side. Oh, okay, I have another one down here. So we're just gonna go ahead and take this one off as well. That was this one. I already decided that we're gonna keep this one. All right, so this one, heavy. Let's go ahead and take off all the small ones that we know definitely we're not gonna keep on. These ones are just all little suckers. Down here, start from the bottom now. So many. Okay. So by now, you guys probably have an idea of what I do and how to do it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut them. If you guys have any questions, leave in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them. Okay, so this cutting now, one main branch. We're keeping this one. There's one more sucker right here that we gotta remove. All right, one main branch. Okay, looking so good already. I'm so happy with the results. Last one, guys, is all these. Look at this one, it's a perfect example. Lower growth, don't need. Small growth, we don't need. This one closest to the post and it has a nice tip still that's gonna lead the growth. So we're gonna take off this last one here, boom. And that is it. I'm gonna go ahead and tie this now and I'm gonna show you guys what to do once they do grow past the top and how to cut them so that way they can produce more branches and then lots of fruits to come from after that. All right, just gonna tie these up now. And I'll go back to this later to have my wife actually help me hold some of them up because they're kind of really bent and I want her to hold it so that way I don't accidentally break it. So we'll move back to this one later, but you guys can see we took off all of these suckers, all of these small growth. Now we have one main branch, and just because we did that, they're gonna catch up to those other ones that's already passed the trellis up very fast. Just give it some fertilizer and it's gonna blow up. All right guys, last one. This is Asunta 6. I've been trying to clone this pot for a year now and I finally got it to grow. And this one, during the season, I wanted this one to grow as quick as possible because this is a rare variety. The flower is beautiful and a lot of people want them. So I wanted to get this mature as quickly as possible, make it into a mother tree so I can have lots of cuttings for everyone to come out. So in the beginning, I didn't leave any of those growth. I already cleaned it all up because I knew I had other ones to use as examples. So I just focused on creating one main branch and let it lead all the way to the top. And look at how much growth it has made. All 4 of the cuttings now way past over the trellis. And because I didn't cut it, it didn't produce more branches. All it did was grow, and this is gonna keep growing until I do something here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave about 2 inches from the top of the canopy. So about right here, I'm gonna do a straight cross-section cut. Just like that, you guys. And this too can be also used as a cutting. We just got to dry the bottom because we did a flesh cut. We normally do stem cuts. Those can be planted right away, but these ones needs to dry a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that in here. So just like that. And just clean this up here, guys. So that way it grows nicely. This one isn't past very far like the other one, but it's okay. We can still also cut this one. So I'm gonna go ahead, cut it there. This one, same thing. We're gonna match it to this height. Perfect. This is about 16 inches of growth past the canopy. I like to keep it kind of like this. Once it reaches like about 6 inches above, then I'll take off, 4 inches, leaving about 2 inches from the bottom. Just like that. So what I'm going to do now is tie it. So that way they don't collide together once they do start producing out new branches. And this is the last stage that you wanted to get it to when you plant new dragon fruit cutting, guys. So this is why we prune. We prune everything to help lead it to the very top. Once it gets to this stage, we can cut the top. And what this does is it's gonna stop the growth from growing vertical, and you're gonna start having more horizontal growth, and it's gonna start umbrelling out like a really nice canopy. And once that all happens, you have dragon fruit cuttings with umbrellas that all look like this, and they'll start to fruit massively like this sugar dragon here. What to do after you prune your newly planted dragon fruits. So you probably wondering, hey Richard, your last video you showed me how to prune all of my newly planted cuttings, but what do I do when they have growth again? So I had some of those questions in my comments, so it was a perfect time to create this video because just about the same time you guys did the pruning, mine is also growing a lot of new branches too. So if you've been following along the videos, you should be at this stage as well. So you guys are ready? Let's talk about it. Okay, let's start with Ohana Express. I waited until the cuttings got about this tall, and I got my pruners and I clipped them right here, and it's about 1 to 2 inches past the trellis. But as you can see, I just pruned this probably about 3 or 4 days ago, so not a lot of growth is happening yet, not on here especially, but I do see new growth happening down here. So I don't want the growth to be down here because it's still too low on the trellis. So what I'm gonna do now is, guys, I'm just gonna break these off. There's 1, 2, and 3 little tiny branches that are growing out of Ohana Express. And if we look up here, nothing's growing. So what I just did was I broke those branches off so that way it can induce new growth here where it's on the top of the trellis. So when they grow out, it's gonna go this way and not have to go up and then out. All right, so that's for the Ohana Express. So if you're at this stage, continue to prune everything that's below the canopy and wait for those new growth to grow on the top of your cutting, okay guys? Your main branch. Call this the main branch. Look, starting from here, one branch going up, main branch, and we're continue to going until we get some sprouts on the top, okay? So that's Ohana Express. Now we're moving on to Sour Patch Kids. Sour Patch Kids already had some growth growing when I did this video, and I cut it, and now it's really accelerating growth. Let me see if I can show you guys where the cut is. Okay, so the cut is right here. So this is what happens, you guys. Once you guys cut the top, we call this cropping the top. Once you crop the top, new branches now will start to grow. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sub branches on my main branch, and they are doing absolutely beautiful. This is exactly what I want and expect to happen once you prune all of the lower branches, cut your cutting, and then create new growth to come out, right? So this is the ideal stage that you want it to be at right here, all right? Some of you guys have probably 5, 6, 7 new growths that are growing now on the top of your main branch, and this is what it looks like when it does. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The sixth one is the lowest one and the smallest one. So what I'm gonna do now is just take this one off because we don't need it. Boop. You want about 4 to 5 sub branches. As you can see at the sixth one, they start to kind of thin out and get a little like weak. I want robust sub branches because this is going to form me nice canopy and big healthy branches, so that way in the season comes by and the next season I'm going to have those branches fruit for me very soon. Here is another one that I cropped the top as well on Sour Patch Kids. You look at that, see, we did the cut right here. You can see that it's callous. It's been about 3 weeks, 20 to 21 days, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 growth again. Again, what I'm going to do is take off the smallest one, this one, boop, the smallest growth, because this one is just going to either grow and collide with this one or just lag and just stay a little smaller than the rest of them. So 4 to 5 is kind of like my magic number that I've been using. And after these sub branches grow, you can let more sub branches grow from your sub branches. So that's how you guys are gonna attack those new growth and, you know, prune it accordingly to how the growth is growing. And this one from Sour Patch Kids did take a little longer to reach the top of the canopy. So I only have pruned it maybe about 3 to 4 days ago as well. And you guys can see the difference. This on top has already calloused, and this here is still kind of like tender green. We're waiting for this to callus. Once this callus, it's gonna get thick and then spit out all of these new branches. And boy, oh boy, it's gonna create the most beautiful canopy ever. And the way that I do it is just gonna accelerate and speed up the process. I know people that let the main branch kind of grow all the way out, but then it doesn't give you multiple sub branches. It's a great way to grow them too. And you do get fruit only on that main branch that continues to grow, but the sub branches are gonna give you way more fruits because they're all gonna mature versus that one main branch that matures and then finally puts out new branches. Okay, so that's Sour Patch Kids. Now we have Sour Patch Watermelon. This one, I kind of had to wait a little bit because this one had a lot of growth, and when I went to go prune all of that lower growth, it didn't give any of that energy on the top to grow it to a point where I want to cut it so I can let the new branches grow out. So what I did was the ones that were ready, I cut them, and I already see a new growth coming out now. So here it is, that's my new growth. Gonna wait for, you know, 4 more growths to grow out. But at this stage, you guys are just clipping the top, waiting for new sub branches to grow out, and then pruning them and then letting them grow and then become nice umbrella canopies. And once we get down to my Asunta 6 trellis, you're gonna see the nice like branching out, the chaotic look, but it's exactly what I want it to look like. So this one, not much going on. I do have 2 cuttings here on my main branch. I'm just waiting to see which one grows a little faster so that way I can save one as a cutting. And this one, eventually, we're gonna do the same as to all of them, and we're gonna cut the top, prune it so that way new branches and more branches can grow out. Same with this one behind here. It's not quite there yet. My main branch has only reached about half an inch over the canopy. I wanted about 1 to 2 inches, so about here, I'll start to cut it and then let it do its thing. All right, so Sour Patch Kids, Sour Patch Watermelon, looking great. Here is my Pink Panther. Pink Panther has been growing very well. It's just one of those cuttings that are always kind of filled with water and feeling very thick and robust. So I did my thing, cut the top, and now I have new growth on this one too. I have 1, 2, 3. Perfect, 3 new growth. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 new growths on this one, nothing yet. So when you're at this stage, you're just waiting for the new growth to come out. Once they grow out, wait a little bit longer so you can see which one is the smallest one. And again, keep 4 to 5 new sub branches. And if you're feeling a little bit, fancy, you just want to test things, test the waters, go ahead and let the 6th branch grow. Who knows, you might be fertilizing so well that they're all going to grow into fruits. Okay, so this is Pink Panther. We cropped the top, got new growth coming out. Beautiful, exactly what you want. And the key thing to this, for these new growth to continue to grow that way that they need to be, is you're gonna have to continue to prune all of your lower growth. So I almost missed it until I crouched down right here. Check this out, guys. There's a new growth growing right here. So that's right there. And this, look how much bigger it is compared to all of the new growth up there. It's small and tiny, right? This one is stealing all of the energy. That's why it's so much bigger than the rest of them on top. So what we're gonna do, guys, is take this leacher off. And then now, we're gonna let all of these ones here, there's no more competition. All of the auxin hormones are gonna grow to this and they're gonna grow super fast. So we're just gonna toss that away. All right, so now we are at the Tide Gold. Do you guys remember how crazy this Tide Gold was? It was everywhere. I couldn't even see a lead growth growing, and it was just way too much going on. So after pruning it, that changed right away. So I'll probably go to my last video and show you guys a snippet of how Tide Gold looked when it was like a monster. It looked like a legit dragon because cuttings were literally growing out everywhere. There were just branches growing everywhere. There was no lead branch growing to the top because it just stunted itself because there were just way too many branches on there. And that's why, you guys gotta prune your cuttings at an early stage, because if you don't do that, all of these branches kind of just stay the same size. They don't do any growing. And you're gonna ask yourself, why is my dragon fruit not fruiting, Richard? And I'm gonna be like, did you prune your dragon fruit? And then you're gonna be like, oh, no, I didn't. So very important step to do when you're growing dragon fruit. It's a lot of work in the beginning, but if you do all of this work early, your season is gonna be so easy once you get to the top, and it's a lot little maintenance to do. Okay, so I remember all of these tips on my main branches were rounded. There was no lead going up. There was no branch tip growing this way, and it was just sad looking. But after I removed all of those branches, guys, look at what I have now. We have now a main branch growing. Where it rounded, it actually pushed all of the growth now to push the growth past the canopy. So I'm getting to a point where we almost can prune it. And as they grow like this, you guys, make sure you guys come out here and tie them up. I've had the mistake where I've let this grow. This is a great example. I've let this main branch grow this way and it kept going and it passed the canopy, and it was so hard for me to bend it back in there. So I'm not gonna do that again. So now it's a great time to just tie everything up and center all of your branches. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. Make sure you guys are looking. See, if this was any longer, I could have just broke that tip and I would have had to wait longer for it to grow. So be careful. Sorry guys, I needed a little longer slack. Here we go. So you guys are at this stage of your dragon fruit. Keep on tying them. Get the main branch to grow to the top. And then once they pass the top, about 1 to 2 inches, you guys are gonna want to cut that right off. Sorry guys, I have fat fingers and it's making it hard for me to tie this, so I'm gonna give it more slack. But in the meantime, as I'm tying this up, this Thai gold has amazed me so much because I honestly thought that it was gonna take a longer time for it to correct itself, but now it's doing its thing. I'm happy to see all of this growth, especially this one. This one had all of these tiny stunted growth, so I didn't think it was gonna create a new one, but it did it. And as I crouch down over here, I see some more branches that needs to be removed. So check that out, guys. Lower growth, sucking energy. You see, there's a theme going on here. The lower growths are always bigger than the top growth, and it's because they're so close to the roots. Once they send that energy in, this will receive it first. We're gonna go ahead and remove that. And I see another one right here. It's tiny, so that's why you guys sometimes gotta get really down to eye level to see these little growths, to remove them before they get too big and you kind of waste a few days of great energy forming at the top of your canopy. Okay guys, we are on to our last trellis. This is the Asunta 6, and Asunta 6 has been doing amazing. Can you guys see? Look at all of these growth, you guys. So I have 4 cuttings here. This one has 3 sub branches. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Normally, I would take one off and remove it to only have 5, but because it looks so healthy and it looks so good, I'm not gonna do that until it gets a little bigger to see if, at this stage, I'm looking for clashing of the branches. If they grow into each other, or if they are, you know, like going to grow on top of each other where it affects its growth, then I will slowly choose which ones to remove. So we go this way. I think I will probably take this one off because it's not even growing this way no more. Like I want it to grow this way. Instead, it's gonna clash into this. So we're gonna go ahead and just take this one off. And I'm just gonna view it again. And no, everything looks great. I have a big cutting here that I left on purpose because I was gonna save this as a cutting. But other than that, this is the stage you guys should be at after pruning all of those lower growth. You want all of these sub branches to grow, and this one main branch just divided itself into 5 to 6 more branches. So you guys can see how pruning and cropping the top is such an important factor in getting it to branch more and fruit more. So definitely do not be lazy. Go out there. It takes a few seconds to do. If you have a lot of dragon fruit like me, it can probably take you half an hour, but that's still not long to do, right guys? Very fast. All right, so that's what you do after you see new growth after pruning your newly cut dragon fruit. So if you guys are at this stage, you guys are doing great. You guys now just gotta wait for the rest of the season for them to grow out bigger. And once they get bigger, and if you guys need to see what else to do, just let me know in the comments and I'll help you guys out with all of that, all right? Prune a mature dragon fruit plant. Once you guys do this, it will set you guys up to prepare for the upcoming season and to have many, many fruits to come. So if you guys are ready, let's get started. All right, guys, this is the trellis that I'm going to be pruning with you guys today. This trellis, as you can see, has so much overgrowth, and I did this on purpose. Usually during the winter time when they're just little branches, I come out here and snip them out, but you know, life gets busy. I have 2 kids now, so it's been harder for me to come out here to do all of the maintenance and all of the things I usually do in the winter. So now I just save it until the springtime. We're in April now, and it's getting a little warmer. So dragon fruit's been a little bit more active. They're growing a little faster. I've also been adding fertilizer, so it's even speeding their growth up even more. So it's definitely time to start cleaning all of this up. I call it spring cleaning. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and talk about what to take off, what my thought process is, and how to get this plant ready for the summer and have all those fruits start to come. Okay, this trellis here has 4 different varieties. The one you guys are seeing in the front here is Purple Haze. Purple Haze is a very progressive, very vigorous grower. The roots just grows crazy, and so does the branch. And you guys can see all of these here are all Purple Haze. We have Desert King, Worth Variegated, and we have also Diego's Desert King. It's a seedling that he grew, but our focus here is all this. What I like to do is always start at the lower bottom growth. These don't usually get any of the sunshine, and if they do produce fruit, they kind of lag because everything on top is getting the penetration and the bottom is not getting much of that sunlight, so the fruits are usually small or they just don't come out as big as you would like. So for me, I just like to take them off. I want all of the main growth to be at the top of the canopy, not at the bottom. So let's go ahead and start taking what I see here. So here's my purple haze. We're gonna go ahead and take this off. And we have a little bit of cactus rust during the winter. Again, this year we had lots of rain, you guys, even more than we did last season. And you're gonna get these cactus rust, but they are starting to callus over, and I don't see it starting to spread. So I'll save this, root it, and once I root it, they'll get healthy enough with all the energy supplements I give them, and they'll start to scab over, and they'll be a healthy cutting ready to produce into a mother tree itself. So that's what I'm just gonna do, guys. I'm just gonna go around and cut everything at the bottom, and as I go up, I'll explain to you guys what else to look for to cut. Look at how big this one got. I was out here tending to my plants, and I didn't want it to grow out any longer. So I went ahead and tipped that. And I'm gonna talk to you guys about tipping a little bit too, because as I'm cleaning up these dragon fruits, I'm gonna also tip them, so that way it starts to trick them into putting out flower buds and stop all of the branch growth. So this one's definitely gonna go. It's way too low here on the trellis, but it's a nice big cutting. We can definitely use this, and we'll save that. All right, this one definitely has to go too. Look, it's trying to grow. It did this crazy loop and went behind the main branch, and here it is. Wow. And sometimes they get stuck in there, guys. And let me try my best to get this out by pulling this main branch up, and it won't. So sometimes you guys got to just give it up. And what I'm going to do is cut this loop here, so that way I can pull it out just like that. So this is why you guys got to clean it up. They'll do some crazy stuff like that, and once it gets too thick, it becomes very hard to take out. So we'll use that as cuttings too. Let's see here. I have another 2 here, 3 right here. So as you can see, we already have 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's another one, 5, and 1 more. 6 great cuttings from just all of the lower growth here. As I finish cutting those lower growth on the bottom and move to the top, I'm now going to take a step back and start to scan to see what else has lower growth that needs to be removed. And before I tell you guys, can you see which one needs to be removed? And I'm going to tell you guys the answer. It's this one right here. I want all of the growth to be mainly at the top of the canopy, because all of the balance is there. Once you guys have lower growth here, it starts to grow too long, it can hit the floor, fruits will start growing very far away from your trellis, and sometimes it can topple over. So having the main branches grow, or the sub branches grow from the main branches on the top, will help you guys balance your trellis. The branches can grow longer, and when your branches are longer, you guys can get way more fruits on them than having a small little cutting that's like this size here, about 10 inches. That's not gonna do too much. They're better off as cuttings. So I'm looking, this one definitely can go. Just gonna toss them there as I go. This one too, I have 2 nice thick branches here already. This new one is kind of out of the range where I want it to be. So go ahead and just clip them. And if you guys are unsure of what to cut, this rule applies to all of my dragon fruit plants. When I have one main branch like this, I like to keep 2 to 3 sub branches, so that way they can start to grow fruits on the ones that's already so nice and healthy. This one here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sub branches, so it looks good to me. There's nothing too low here, so we're gonna leave that. I do see one here, and even though this main branch here has 1, 2, 3 sub branches, I'm going to remove this one just because, again, it's too low and it's hanging, and I don't want it to be there. We're just gonna keep everything nice and tight on the top. And let's go ahead and keep on moving and seeing what else we need to remove. Okay, these ones are okay with me. I'm gonna leave them, and I like to shift them around sometimes too, guys, and move them before they get too big. So that way when they start to grow, they can just start to umbrella nicely. And you guys, if you guys do that early, they'll grow out to look so nice. This one, I'm gonna go to the back now, guys. And this one here is starting to grow more this way. And this branch is over 18 inches already, so I don't need it to grow anymore. So this is where I'm gonna start tipping you guys. So what I do is I take my scissor here and I take about 1/2 inch to 1 inch off. We create this section across here. And now what you just did is you stop the growth from growing this way. It's gonna start to now plump up. And when it has enough energy in the season, it's gonna start to grow flowers on these branches. And that's why it's important to tip them as you guys are pruning them as well. Okay, now let's move to the left side of the trellis. I have this tangerine tree here, and I think this is also a sumo citrus that someone in the comments told me. I don't know what to do with it. It's very sour. So if you guys have any ideas of what to do with this sumo citrus, let me know. All right, so this branch here, if you guys can see it from the top, it's actually growing into my citrus tree. It's gonna be very hard for me to maintain this or even harvest fruit from it. So stuff like that, if it's growing into your wall, growing onto your roof, or even growing onto your tree, unless you want that to happen, leave it. But if you don't and make it easier for you, just remove it. So that's what I'm gonna do today. It's a nice, big, healthy cutting. And we took it off. Now we can use it as a cutting. Okay, so in the back, I'm gonna go to the back now. And this one here, if you guys can see, it's on the top of the trellis, but it's still growing into the tree. So what I'm gonna do is cut 1 inch off of the tip and get this one ready to start producing fruit. And I'm gonna do that one too, cut the tip, and this one as well. These ones are all on the top of the trellis. I like them. They're gonna get tipped, and then we're gonna move to the next trellis. Okay guys, I have one more to show you guys that's really overgrown, and we're just gonna basically recap with this one and show you guys how to do it all over again. All right guys, we always start with the lower growth. This is Sour Patch Kids, white sapphire, what else? And yellow Israel. And I think I also got Thai gold in here. So let's go ahead and remove all the lower branches. This is Sour Patch Kids. Look at this Sour Patch Kids here. It has one growth on the bottom, and now it's putting out 3 new growth. I don't want all of that energy to be focused on growing this. I want it to be on the top where the branches are already mature and start forming those flower buttons, so that way I can get some fruit sooner. So this one is also going to go. Will make great cuttings. Okay. Over here I have some white sapphire. And if you guys have a Sharpie, go ahead and start labeling them if you guys start cutting them, because once you cut so many cuttings, you might forget. So this is what I do. I have a Sharpie. I'm just gonna write white sapphire. So now I know what these cuttings are. And these are Sour Patch Kids cuttings. I'm just gonna put SPK, so I know these are Sour Patch Kids cutting. So when I go back to them, I know what they are. So that way I can sell them to you guys if you guys need cuttings. Okay, more that needs to be grown, cut. So I always come out here and start with all of the lower growth. Those are always my first ones to go. Sometimes they'll be stuck like this, so you guys just gotta be careful as you guys move them up. Or just make it easier on you guys by removing these tape that holds them, because now all of these area roots are already binding them. You can always replace it. Okay, I'm gonna go to this side now. This is Thai gold now. This is also Thai gold, so I'll leave it in this batch here. This one is starting to grow from under the dirt, so make sure you guys move the dirt, find the base of it and cut it right there. Because you guys don't, and you guys just leave like a little thorn on the bottom, they'll just grow right back. Okay, 2 more Thai golds over here. Again, one is growing in the dirt here. So I'm gonna go ahead and move it until I see the base. I see it there. Go ahead, snip it right out. 2 more Thai gold cuttings. And now let's scan, go to the top. And I already see a few that I need to remove again. Here's a new growth that's starting to grow at the bottom. I don't want this new growth. I'd rather have flower buds grow. So go ahead and remove that. Now we just stopped the energy from growing this branch, and when they put out some new growth here, it could be a new bud or a new branch, and if it's a new branch, just keep on breaking them until you get a bud flower. These two are gonna go. I have some nice long ones that are growing here. They kind of stunt themselves, so any ones that stunt and too small, definitely just take them off. We don't need them. And now let's take a look at our plant. I still see some undergrowth here. It's beneath the canopy. This is some Sour Patch Kids. We're gonna take this one off as well. So now, just look at it, guys. You can see me now, and there's not a lot of overgrowth growing at the bottom where they're sucking all the energy and not feeding to the top. And now we're gonna go. Everything looks nice and clean. Everything's at the base in the center of the trellis. So this one is ready for the season. Oh, actually, guys, there's another one hiding right here. So that's why I like to take a step back sometimes, because when I'm so close to the trellis, I just totally miss it. This one too. Okay. And just by doing that, you guys, look at how many cuttings we have on both trellis. Purple Haze, we have Sour Patch Kids, Thai Gold, and White Sapphire. And now everything on the top looks nice and neat. Nothing's overcrowded, nothing's growing into each other, and if they are, I just kind of look at which ones are the smaller one, remove it, create space so that way they can grow over each other and not collide and create a mess. Okay, guys? So that's what I like to do in the start of the season. Go out here, prune all of the lower growth, clean up the canopy, and start tipping some of these so that way more flower growth can start growing. An example of the power of tipping when you guys are doing your spring pruning. Here is G2, and this one I tipped already. As you guys can see, I broke the little branch here, so that's why it kind of rounds out like that. But we already have 3 buds here. These are flower buds. We're in April, so it's early in the season, but when you guys prune successfully and you guys tip your dragon fruit like the way I do, you guys will get an early start to your season. You can start collecting pollen and have it all ready to start pollinating once the full-blown season starts. All right, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you guys have any question at all of what I did today, leave it in the comments below. And if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please hit that subscribe button so that way you guys won't miss a single thing. And I'll see you guys in the next episode of Grafting Dragon Fruit. Peace.